Welcome to the tutorial on guided reminiscing. This tutorial lasts about 15 minutes and is designed to give you an overview of guided reminiscing. This includes showing you what it looks like during an interaction and offering guidance on how to use it to support episodic memory. This tutorial and associated materials were developed by Ashley Brian and Tiffany Hutchins. To get the most out of this tutorial, it will be important for you to have a foundational understanding of episodic memory. To learn more about episodic memory and its importance for theory of mind and social communication, please refer to our training manual entitled Supporting Episodic Memory, Clinician Manual and Caregiver Support Materials. This manual is available by accessing the materials room from theoryofmindinventory.com. The Supporting Episodic Memory Clinician Manual and Caregiver Support Materials includes a clinician manual, caregiver handouts, example activities, data sheets, sample treatment goals. To support episodic memory in individuals who have or who are at risk for social learning challenges, we will discuss the technique of guided reminiscing. Before we discuss the features of guided reminiscing, it is important to understand elaborative reminiscing. Elaborative reminiscing is a caregiver communication style that facilitates the recall of personal narratives with rich detail and supports episodic memory development. Elaborative reminiscing draws upon the adult's ability to elicit and expand upon the child's recollections through the use of open-ended questions and elaborative statements so that events can be re-experienced, mutually understood, and socially shared by the discussants. Elaborative reminiscing is important because it has been found to powerfully influence the development of episodic memory in typically developing children. Guided reminiscing is a little different than elaborative reminiscing in that it blends elaborative reminiscing with the best practices for supporting social cognition in individuals with autism spectrum disorder. Guided reminiscing is a collaborative conversation that aims to share and elaborate upon an individual's memory of a personally experienced event. Because persons with autism differ widely in their ability to understand and participate in conversation, guided reminiscing makes use of a variety of rhetorical devices, but only to the degree that they are possible and appropriate. These include WH questions, as well as expansive statements to elaborate on an individual's recollection, again, when this is appropriate, given the individual's language level. For preschool and school-aged children with receptive and expressive language in the average or low average range, meaningful participation using guided reminiscing is a reasonable goal. For individuals with more limited language or for whom alternative strategies or supports would be beneficial, we offer a variety of structured treatment approaches in our clinical manual, including several primary guided reminiscing strategies. These include adaptations to established interventions like social stories and comic strip conversations, as well as novel interventions, including the controlled episodic memory encoding procedure and something we call friend ventures. In the clinical manual, we also describe a range of supplementary supports, including apps, visual organizers, and instructional activities to support guided reminiscing and episodic memory. Again, these materials and resources are available by accessing the materials room at theoryofmindinventory.com. It may seem surprising, but the first step to mastering guided reminiscing is actually learning how to talk with the child about events as they are happening in real time. Parallel talk, that is, talking about events as they are occurring, allows the child to organize the event temporally, including grounding it in time and organizing sequences of events, including what happened first, what happened next, and so on. Using language to mark and encode experiential connections in the moment can facilitate the child's ability to access and retrieve these as memories at a future time, and can help them retrieve richer and more accurate memories as well. Here is an example of parallel talk with a child to talk about an event as it is happening. In this example, a child is engaged in what we imagine will be a memorable experience. This example helps us to show how we can use parallel talk to help lay down a memory as it is happening. Now, let's talk about using guided reminiscing when talking about events that have already happened. The following slides offer demonstrations of what low versus high guided reminiscing look like with children who are verbal but who also have limited expressive language, either because of their younger age or an expressive language deficit. Here, we hope you will see what low and high guided reminiscing could look like in that situation, and it also helps us highlight the features of adult talk that are desirable and not desirable. In short, the terms low and high guided reminiscing are value-laden. Generally speaking, high guided reminiscing is the goal. More specifically, the characteristic features of low guided reminiscing are, generally, to be avoided or decreased in favor of the characteristic features of high guided reminiscing, as these are believed to be the active ingredients for facilitating episodic memory in children with ASD. Then, we offer an example of what high guided reminiscing will look like with a child who has good expressive language, and you should see that this looks a little different still because of all the different kinds of rhetorical devices that can be employed to explore and share a memory. Now, let's briefly define the terms. A more detailed explanation of each term will be presented in the following slides. Low guided reminiscing has few details, lacks narrative coherence, is didactic, feels like an interview, focuses on accuracy and correcting, and here the adult evaluates the recollection. High guided reminiscing, on the other hand, is rich, detailed, elaborative, colorful, has narrative coherence, feels like a conversation, focuses on sharing, integrates perspectives, is a mutual evaluation of the recollection. During low guided reminiscing, the adult communication partner offers minimal information to expand upon the child's recollection, asks many repetitive questions that do not expand upon the recollection, does not encourage the child to recall the details in more depth, and does not offer positive feedback or gently correct the child's errors by providing additional, accurate information. Here is an example of an adult using low guided reminiscing with a child who has an overall low amount of talk. This example is portrayed in the video on the following slide.
So I remember this picture right here. Remember the name of the game you played at school last year?
Yeah.
What was it?
Dodgeball.
No, it was sponge dodgeball. Who played?
Me.
Who else played?
It's Calvin.
Who else?
Sam.
What color was the ball?
Red.
No, it wasn't red. What color was it? Do you remember what color it was?
No.
It was blue. Did the ball hit you?
It was wet.
But where? Where did the ball hit you?
My leg.
No, not your leg. Where did it hit you? It hit your face.
As opposed to low guided reminiscing, during high guided reminiscing, the adult communication partner expands upon the child's recollections, asks WH questions, provides additional information in the form of statements, encourages the child to reflect upon the event, confirms the child's accurate recollections, and gently corrects the child's errors by providing additional accurate information. This is an example of high guided reminiscing. Here, the child is still low in overall amount of talk, but the caregiver is responding in a highly expansive way. The following slide demonstrates this example in video form.
All right, remember that game you played at school last year?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was called? With the balls that look and felt like sponges?
Dodgeball.
Yeah, you're right. It was dodgeball with sponges. It was called sponge dodgeball.
Sam hit me.
I don't remember Sam hitting you with the ball. Sam was on your team. I remember Calvin threw the ball and it hit you.
On my leg.
Yeah, it did hit you in the leg, and I remember when it hit you right on the cheek. At first you looked really scared, but then you started laughing.
It was wet.
Right, the sponge dodgeballs were soaked in water, weren't they? So when it hit your face got wet. Did you like that feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you liked it. You started laughing so hard, and you got splashed by the balls. You remember that? Do you think you want to play sponge dodgeball again sometime?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you think you'll be scared if it hits you in the face again?
No.
The goal of guided reminiscing is for the child to participate in a back and forth conversation that is collaboratively constructed, jointly recalled, and mutually understood by both communication partners. When the child has good language skills, the aim is to use a high guided reminiscing style by the caregiver or adult combined with a high amount of talk by the student or child participant in these conversations. Through questions, elaborative statements, and exploration of different perspectives, we deconstruct and reconstruct an event so as to lay down a record of that event in memory, oftentimes a richer, more detailed, or more accurate memory of an event and its meaning in our lives. Here is an example of an adult using high guided reminiscing with a child who uses a high amount of talk. Notice how, even though there is a lack of recall on the part of the child, the adult persists, adds details, gives hints, and encourages memory using questions and elaborative statements.
So, thought we could reminisce a little bit.
Okay.
This is from a while back. I think it's like 5 years ago, maybe?
Really? So I was 5.
No, 5 years ago.
So I was 5.
Oh my goodness. Yes, because how old are you now? You're 20?
10.
Oh, going on 21?
No.
Oh, you're 10. You were 5. Yeah, I think that's about right. I think that's right. So let's look at this. So, yeah, okay, 2013. So I was right. About 5 years ago. Lola looks smaller. Is everybody on Halloween?
Who is that?
Who is that?
Is that?
That's Sophia. No. Is that Sophia?
I think it is.
That looks scary.
It does. I was dressed up as Brave.
That's
Right?
right. You were brave.
And then Bryn was witch.
I guess so. I don't remember. Looks like she's a witch.
And then
Do you remember where we were going?
Oh, that place that we used to always go. I forget what it's called, but like I forget what it's called.
Well, we walk through it, and there's little plays.
Well, trick or treating.
Well, trick or treating. I think this is the night we did something different. I don't think
The
we
haunted
trick or.
forest. The haunted.
I think we went to the haunted forest. Don't we dress up when we do that? The haunted forest? Don't we dress up for that?
Yeah. I think.
So do you remember the haunted forest?
Not really.
It's a long time ago. But we walk around. And what do we do? You don't remember?
No, not really.
So it's kind of a long walk, and it's in the forest, and it's at nighttime. It's dark. It's cold.
Okay.
We walk from place to place.
Trick or treating.
No, we're not trick or treating. Remember when they show the skits?
No.
So there's people dancing, and then there's people telling stories.
Okay.
You don't remember?
No, I don't.
Do you remember you got really mad at somebody who scared you?
No.
And you turned around and you screamed at them?
No.
You did.
I don't.
You don't remember?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is the same night. There.
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't remember that.
That's the haunted forest. So we have a guide, and the guide takes us through the forest.
Okay.
And what's in the forest? What do you see?
Creepy thing.
Creepy things. Remember, there's jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. There's pumpkins everywhere. What?
With that, we conclude this presentation on guided reminiscing. For more information, please see the following references. We hope this presentation was helpful in demonstrating low and high guided reminiscing. More detailed information is available in the Supporting Episodic Memory Clinician Manual and Caregiver Support Materials and at theoryofmindinventory.com.